saying not only that she would maybe not know about the Narcan training, she might not even know about the
She might
community
not know
well,
about the meeting.
and she's officially on it
Right.
She like inherits
Those
it
appointments,
from
right.
Lou, so she
It's
may
the
not
one
know.
in your life.
Okay, just because I want to be sure what I'm telling her. Okay.
All right, thank you, everyone. This is the Community Wellness Committee. It's June 5th. I'm gonna have a little cough real quick. Let's see, so we are here, I'm here, Elaine Mosher-Campoli was, appointed last night and may or may not be aware that she's been assigned to this committee, so we're trying to suss that out now, but she's not here, which is okay. And, Bryce Wooden, I see you. So, welcome everyone. Did you have a chance to look at the minutes from last meeting? Okay, they look good?
They look very
They
good.
look great to me too. So, first on our agenda, we are very lucky and grateful to have a presentation from the, I want to get it right, Narcan Community Initiative.
It's close. Narcan Initiative Team. It's the
Narcan
Narcan Initiative and we're the team.
Okay, got it. Narcan Initiative Team, and our presenter is Danielle Lister, who's going to show us how to administer Narcan to reverse an opioid overdose. Which is overdose if you try to merge those in brain. Cool, thank you. Please take it away. Thank you for coming.
Hi, thank you. So I work at, for do a little background, my name is Danielle Lister. I mean, give a short story. I got sober in 2009 when I had my kids, had 8 years, and then relapsed in 2018, and went to prison for 3 years. So I've been out for 2 years now, I'm off parole as of June 1st, and yeah, I buried 22 people personally next, because of overdoses and drunk driving and stuff, so, it's just, this whole thing is near and dear to my heart. I'm from Delaware County, I'm from Walton, so, and then I went to school in Suco, got my bachelor's there, so, yeah, and then now I'm here. So I'm hopefully, giving back, and now I have 5 years. As of September 4th, 2018, that was my arrest date and my sobriety date. But, yeah, so as far as, the training goes, I put in these like little bags. Yeah, there's just a pamphlet to kind of follow along. So basically, I'm sure everybody's familiar with opioids. We have Oxycontin, we have hydrocodone, fentanyl, which fentanyl is a big reason why everybody is overdosing now, even, with cocaine, everything, or methamphetamines, marijuana is being laced, everything is being laced with, fentanyl, and, which is leading to overdoses. So, I mean, basically, Narcan is what this is. This is the box that you will carry if you want to carry it. You can take it out. There are two,
The packages are much smaller.
Yeah.
I find it's easy to just stick in your purse or something.
absolutely, or if you want to just put it like, yeah, in here if you want, in this little bag, that's in your bag.
Oh, that's cool.
But, so basically this will only work for opioids. Nothing to do with, any other type of drug. It will only work on an overdose with that. It won't harm anybody if you give it to them. If they're having a heart attack, say, and they just fall out or, they fainted or anything like that, it's not gonna affect them, whatsoever. So basically the way that, opioids work, first of all, is they attach to the receptors in the brain, and if too many receptors are, clogged basically with, a opioid, and then it will slow your breathing down, to the point where if you stop breathing, it's gonna be an overdose. As well as other symptoms of it, are the nail beds, the pink in your nail beds are not there. Your lips are gonna turn blue. Breathing severely slows down, if not stops. So they cold to the touch, but yeah, it's not a good sight. So if that happens, you're gonna go up to the individual and you're gonna put them on their back, completely on their back, make sure, you know, that they really aren't, breathing. And then you could just administer the Narcan. It's just a nasal spray. You put it just, you know, like you're doing an allergy spray or anything, and you just press the red button and it administers it. This is a 4 milligram dose. And then after you administer it, then you're going to wait like approximately 2 minutes. Most of the time, you're going to need the other 4 milligram dose, which is, so altogether 8. I have known people that have taken 10 doses in order to wake up. So it's really, some people will wake up after, you know, 1, other people won't. It all depends on, you know, the amount they took, their, what is it called, their tolerance, and just how their body reacts to the Narcan. So when you go over, and you put them on their back after you administer that, and when they do come to, you're gonna immediately tell them, you know, I gave you Narcan, I gave you, you know, naloxone, and if you feel comfortable enough to call 911, please stay with them until the first responders come, and then you can tell whoever comes first, whether it be the police or the firefighters, that, you know, you administered it every 2 minutes until they start breathing again, and let them take over. Now, if you are trained in CPR, you can give rescue breaths after you administer the Narcan, if you feel comfortable enough. If not, then just turn them on their side, which is the rescue position after, until, you know, because if they do throw up, you don't want them to asphyxiate, which most of the time they will, because this automatically puts someone into precipitated withdrawal, which most addicts are going to be very angry when they wake up, and you tell them that, because it ruins their high. As much as, you know, I love the face, but it's, you know, it's true, because they just wasted money, for, you know. So after the rescue position, they come to, call 911. If you don't call 911, if you don't feel comfortable, please stay with the individual for 4 hours at least. Narcan will work up to like 30 to 90 minutes depending, because what it does is it attaches to those receptors that are filled with opiates and reverses essentially what the opiates were doing, which were depressing every part of their system. So, yeah, I mean, I know that was really quick, and I'm nervous, and even though there's only like 3 or 4 people, I just,
No, that was great.
Yeah, it was great.
I don't know, it's really,
You did great, Danielle. That was
you
great.
know, it's just, yeah, so,
Yeah.
I mean, you're trained.
Yes.
Can I ask a
Yeah, of
question?
course.
You can probably help with this too, help me. If you find somebody or if somebody this happens to and they go into cardiac arrest, what's the process for administering full CPR, not just the breaths, but CPR and Narcan?
Well, okay, so you would administer the Narcan or do CPR, whichever one you feel more comfortable, because it will be a hectic scene.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to start the CPR, if you want to start, you know, the breaths and, you know, the chest compressions, then you can do that in between, or you can administer the Narcan because you don't wanna do another dose for another
Right.
2 minutes,
But
so.
it's okay to start CPR if you, regard, you can
He's
administer
asking
the
if you do
Narcan.
both.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's not gonna,
Yes,
yeah,
okay.
and if you do feel comfortable, administering CPR, if you don't, and it is cardiac arrest, then, yeah,
Because
it's not gonna
CPR
hurt
doesn't
the
address
heart attack.
chemical thing. So you still need.
No, I understand that, I
Yeah.
just didn't want one to compromise the other.
No, I get it, totally.
Yeah, a lot of people ask that question, because it could be very, similar, and it's a hectic situation, so.
Also, because it's hard to differentiate when somebody's lying there.
Right. I didn't realize that you might need multiple doses of Narcan, so that was really helpful information for me. And then also, I really appreciated your candor about the person potentially being like really angry when they wake up. Just like, that's not a situation that I hope I ever find myself in, but if I do, knowing what to
prepared.
expect.
It's not only angry, they're combative, they'll punch you, so if you have another person, you might need someone to reassure the person and somebody else to, I don't wanna say restrain them, but to at least be prepared and aware that, that the person might be fighting.
Okay,
And that's mainly with addiction, but this could happen to anybody. An elderly person might not remember taking all of their medications and overdose essentially, and it's not, but I'm not going to say that they're going to wake up and be combative with you, and you're not gonna get the same response, but yeah, most people will, because it's not a comfortable situation to be in withdrawal. You're gonna get shakes and be hot, cold, so people, this could throw someone into a seizure, just the overdose itself, not the Narcan. So yeah.
I think it's also really important to share, and you did, that Narcan won't hurt if it's something else, because it's hard, I think anything, you might hesitate, like, I don't know if this is the right thing to
Right.
do, but if it can't hurt, then it is the right thing to do, so I think that's a really helpful thing just for people to know.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's the big thing, because I think the biggest, when you see health crisis situations, I think a lot of it happens because there's an unknown educational piece,
Mm-hmm.
and someone doesn't want to do a liability issue, and then but that's what I love about Narcan is it doesn't really impact anybody if you made a mistake, but at least you're doing it's safe, you're doing the right thing, because if something is happening, you could save a life.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you don't have to second guess it.
And there's a Good Samaritan law as well, that if, you are, if you do have some trouble, it won't protect whoever calls, 911 if you're on probation or parole or any of that. But they, introduced this because a lot of people were overdosing, and the individuals with them were scared to call, and they would die. So, which they didn't need to. So yeah, I mean, it's there for the person who is overdosing and the individual who is calling 911. If there's anybody else around, yeah, it's up to them whether or not they leave, but if they choose to stay, and police are dispatched, they might get in trouble, but.
Right.
So,
Right. Good to know.
it's just really scary now with all the pill presses and everything. I mean, there's, stories of people passing away that are 16 years old that, just took one pill because it looked like the actual pill. So it's sad. But I was not sure about this at first, even as an addict myself, because I felt like it gave us a leeway to do more. And I'm okay, I have Narcan, but the more and more it goes on, as many lives as it saved, I like it.
Yeah,
It's a good drug.
cool.
So, and it is different from Suboxone, if anybody, it has the same ingredient, the naloxone, but Suboxone is naloxone and buprenorphine. So this is just the naloxone.
Okay, and,
So if you have Suboxone or anything, that will not reverse an overdose.
oh, really?
Two completely different drugs,
Okay,
yes.
cool, thank you. And just to recap from last time, the free vending machine for Narcan is right over here around the corner on Elm Street behind Fordu.
Yes.
It's super easy to use, you just punch in the number and it falls and you take it. And I think you said there are no cameras or
There's
anything.
no cameras, there's nothing to sign, it's always there, it's open.
Yeah,
And they want you to take it, they want it to be out in the community, and that way they can keep refilling it, so do it.
Yeah, the more times I have to stock it, it makes me happy,
oh, good.
Yeah,
so.
Well, thank you for coming and like
course.
bringing
Thank
goodie
you.
bags for everyone
Yes,
and,
yeah, nice meeting
and
everybody.
speaking publicly about it. I know, you know, we're on YouTube, so it's.
and thank you, Katie.
Well, you didn't know
what?
that?
Katie, thank you for setting this up.
Yes.
Well done.
Yeah, for the city of Oneonta. You're on our channel. You did a great job.
Even better.
Great job. I'm glad I didn't tell you that first. Oh man, sorry, but you did a great job. And it's really valuable, like you said, the more we talk about it, the less
Yeah.
stigma there is. So,
Exactly.
and thank you for sharing your story too.
Of
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Or
It was,
probation.
I'm off parole now,
Okay, yeah, yay.
As of June 1st.
Cool, congratulations.
Thank you.
yeah, this made my week because it's just so weird over even the last 10 years, just how different things are. And that's why when you saw me make that face, like, I was kind of having a flashback with, won't talk about it, but just knowing people and friends and being like, wow, like, just to even have this conversation, like, just scares me, you know, but,
Yeah,
Yeah,
but being the solution to it and doing more education.
yeah.
can I just add two things? I just want to say, related to what you're saying, that, it really happens, I've twice found myself in situations where I did CPR in public. It's like, it really happens, you know, I once was on a train and there was somebody lying there and they called, I'm saying that is because it's the same moment where being that person who goes in, it feels good to be that person.
Yeah.
And having this training allows you to have that opportunity to save lives. It's like a good, you see what I mean, it's a good thing. It's a good
Oh my
thing.
God, absolutely.
Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to say is just about carrying it, because Danielle said something at one point in the beginning, like if you're comfortable carrying it, it's really an educational thing too. I find, like I'll be taking you to say something about it, or somebody will see when I open my pocketbook that it's there, and they're like, she carries Narcan, and it's like an educational piece. We all should be, just like we should carry Band-Aids, you know what I mean? I wasn't carrying a Band-Aid the other day when I cut my finger, remember?
Right, yeah.
Right, but I mean, we all should be ready for anything, yeah.
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
it's just part of being an adult.
It's amazing just thinking about, like, before the wellness meetings, like, I didn't even think about, like, us as a staff for my job currently to even have Narcan, like, with the first aid.
At SUNY,
Yeah, and like,
yeah.
and like,
You know,
like, just little
Letitia's
things.
part of our team, and she's like bringing it all over SUNY.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
that, now.
And Dr. Carday is very into it, he's a public health person himself, the president, yeah. So
It just
SUNY's
goes in.
actually a good role model for institutions, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you know, it's been spreading, but just even something as small as that, of like,
Yeah, just
Okay.
having it,
we're going to community events in the summer with a group of students.
bring it, bring it.
Who knows, you never know, so it's just,
That's right.
so
Yeah.
I thank you.
Our
Thank you, guys.
goal as a team is to make, you've heard me say this before, is to make Oneonta a role model for other small cities across the nation. So we're documenting what's going on, this multidisciplinary team, the colleges and everything, you know, like, so we're interested in those kinds of comments, yeah. Yeah, and Danielle's great, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course, thank you guys, I really
Thank you.
appreciate it, it's, you know, I understand the stigma behind it, but it can affect anybody at any time, you know, I
For
had
sure.
2 degrees before, so it's just.
You look like you're packing up, are you leaving or?
I'm gonna use the, restroom, I wasn't sure what else was
It sounds like this gentleman is going to talk something related to bicycles, correct?
Including some that are for doing.
Oh, cool.
I'll sit.
Okay.
Oh, you don't have to.
You don't have to, if you don't want to, but you're certainly welcome to. Yeah, so that was excellent, thank you. And I think too, just, being someone who can go toward something that is happening like that rather than, I think it's called like bystander syndrome, where you just
That's
are like, I don't know what to do. So, making us more comfortable with the process, that all helps us to be able to act in the way that like
It's empowering,
our first
yes.
responders do naturally, so I work very hard to, I should say. So, okay, so moving on to the Community Bicycle Repair Program. Thank you for coming. I'm going to give you the floor, Mr. House.
Thank you.
I've heard about this through various sort of things, and it's great to, connect directly and hear about what you're doing. And I know our city administrator, Greg Mattias, had some ideas on the ways that the city could partner, so hopefully you can speak to those a little bit. He did write me an email about it, but I'm not the expert, so I will give you the floor.
Sure, Jeff House. I worked for the city for many years in the community development office. And since my retirement, I have been looking for lots of things to do. And last summer, my daughter, who's a school secretary at South Courtright, wanted to know if I could find a couple of bicycles for two different families that had moved into their community and into the school district that were very poor and had children and didn't have any bicycles or transportation or fun things for the kids to do. So that got me started. I asked around, picked up a handful of bikes. I've always been very handy. I was a mechanic in the box factory for many, many years. And so I fixed the bikes up and got them to her, and it was fun, and they were happy, and I was happy, and I really enjoyed it. And because my wife and I volunteer at the Lord's Table and have for several years now, we see a lot of people, and from when I worked in community development here for the city, got to know a lot of the people in the community that are, that struggle on a regular basis. Working poor, homeless people, a lot of people who just struggle in general. And I started thinking about, I worked primarily in grant writing and doing housing projects and that sort of thing. And housing is always, housing and food are the number 1 and 2 priority for people who struggle. But there's also a real need for people to be able to get to services and get to jobs and get to wherever or just go out and have fun and enjoy themselves. So I started looking at other communities that have, or just to see what was out there, what they did with bicycle programs that I had heard about. And some fairly close by, the village of Hamilton has a community bicycle program, very formalized one.
Okay.
They're set up as a not-for-profit. They get funding through a couple of different agencies. Rochester has a gigantic one. They've handed out over 35,000 bicycles in the last 10 or 15 years.
Wow.
Albany, Schenectady, Troy, Utica, most of the larger cities have some form of a community bike program. A lot of them are just private people like me who do it, and some are more organized. So I decided that with the contacts I have through Lord's Table and a lot of the people that I know in the community, to look at how many bikes were out there that I might be able to access.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just started talking to people, posting on Facebook, hey, you have a bike in your garage that you're not using anymore, consider donating it to me or selling it at a reasonable price so that I can fix it up and get it out to people that may need one.
Mm-hmm.
Since that started, towards the end of last summer, I've taken in a little over 150 bicycles.
Oh my goodness.
I've refurbished all but about 15 or 20 of them right now. I have some I'm working on. I've handed out about 95 right now, and I have 10 more going out this week to the Oneonta School District. They're doing a bike-a-thon this weekend.
Yeah.
And they had contacted me about seeing if I could get some bikes together for kids that wanted to participate but couldn't afford a bike. So in a nutshell, that's what I do. Most of the vast majority of the bikes I get are donations. I do buy some, I try not to, but when I get short of bikes and I know people need them, I'll buy some. I've funded the whole thing myself. I don't get any funding from outside sources other than a few people who will write me a check once in a while. But I don't have anything formal set up. Most of my distribution goes through my contacts, either at the Lord's table or just people on the street that I know, as well as early on I contacted Fordu, the Family Services, RSS, Catholic Charities, Boys and Girls Club, and Salvation Army, just to let them know what I was doing. So I do get referrals from them, people that they work with or that they're in contact with that maybe just recently got a job or need a bike or need transportation. And so I'll try and get one together for them. I do not, some community programs, like I said, Hamilton is very formalized. They require referrals from service organizations, from social services or RSS or one of the other organizations before they will consider giving somebody a bike. Because they're grant funded in a lot of ways. I know from running grants for the city of Oneonta that you have to maintain all kinds of records and so on.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to get that involved at this point. So I don't ask people if they have any money. I don't ask people necessarily why they need a bike. Sometimes I might casually say, oh, you need a bike for going to work or whatever. I don't ask names, addresses, anything like that. I tell people, word has gotten out that I do this, so a lot of people just come up to me and say, I need a bike. I tell people all the time, don't steal bikes. If you need a bike, come see me. I don't want you going to jail because you stole a bike from somebody. I'll give you a free one. I don't charge anything for what I do. I just do it because I have a lot of fun doing it, and it helps a lot of people. So Greg Mattice and I had spoken about it a while ago. When I worked for the city, one of the things that I did was I was in charge of overseeing different buildings that the city had, like the old skate house and the armory and the airport and some other things. And I know that the police take in lots of bicycles that they find or that they're turned over that aren't involved in a crime or aren't being held because they're evidence. And usually the city puts those together when they get a bunch of them and they auction them off. So I had contacted Greg and also the purchasing agent to find out if they had bikes now and when they might be auctioning and so on. And Greg suggested that I talk to the city on a little more formal basis about possibly having access to some of the bikes that the police bring in, as well as storing bikes at the armory. Right now my bikes are in my backyard.
Oh my gosh.
And in my basement, and in my garage around my car. And I work on them in my basement.
Okay.
I generally take them one at a time down the stairs and take them back up. It's getting harder as the years go by. Anyway, so he suggested that I talk with the city about having the city maybe involved in some way because of the initiatives to have alternative transportation available to people in the city. and it fits right in with what I'm doing. So that pretty much is what I do, and,
Hey, right on time.
hey Greg.
Just multitasking, listening.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
So yeah, if you have any questions at all, I don't refurbish bikes to new condition. I fix them the best I can to make them safe and serviceable, so that they're rideable. That's pretty much it.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
impressive what you're doing, that's wonderful.
That's,
Thank you
I
for what
enjoy-
you're
I
doing
enjoy
for the
doing it.
community, yeah.
yeah, Crossroads, the place down at, I've started working with them as well. They've gotten, I think, 7 or 8 bikes from me in the last couple of weeks.
Nice.
So,
I'm only doing this because Mr. House I've known for many years. He's known me since a kid, and it doesn't surprise me, but just holy crap. It's just amazing because it's community. Like, I know it's something that you love to do, but just the fact that you're also thinking about, you know, the neighborhood, the community, and thinking about a big thing that we've talked to even about the strategic plan when it comes to economic development, how many different employers that we have in Oneonta, and especially like when I help my students, a lot of times there's a lot of jobs that are offering jobs, but they're like, I don't know how to get there. Especially like Springbrook and Brooks and some of the big employers.
Right.
So if they have a bike, they could.
Yeah.
You don't have to work, call A&D taxi and spend money you don't need to spend just to get to work and back. So these are the things that, it's just like, I know it's just something, it's in your heart, but
yeah,
I think,
It's
you know,
really generous. It's a really generous gift to the community.
well, and you know too that, because you see it just like the rest of us do, that since a lot of the more formal facilities for people that need help with mental illness or drug addiction and so on have closed down, it's much more difficult for people now to get services, to get to services.
Yeah.
And so there are a lot more people on the streets, a lot more people that are looking for help, not always in a formal way. I know our numbers at Lord's Table skyrocketed for a while. They've settled back down a little
Okay.
bit, but we were doing 50 or 60 meals a night. We were up over 125, and we still hit that number every once in a while, 5 nights a week.
Wow.
So there are a lot of people that are really struggling.
Yeah. Reliable transportation is huge. I mean, I know from running a store at the mall for a long time that getting out there, people who didn't have a car, you know, I was always willing to like work with their schedule, but the bus didn't necessarily always align with the hours, and like you said, A&D, sometimes they wouldn't show up. And they're expensive, you know, if you're working a job that's basically minimum wage, and it's probably minimum wage now, that minimum wage is higher, but, you know, and then you spend half your earnings for that day on a taxi to get there, so it doesn't help you get off the ground, you know. And there are a lot of those jobs available, so I think this fills a need in our community that is really multifaceted. So it's pretty amazing, and personally, my feeling is that anything that we can do, like legally, to support this, I think we should do, you know, personally. So I would be interested, I know you had mentioned a couple things in your email, specifically with the armory, but I'd be interested to know more about how we might be able to facilitate the donation of the bikes from the police department. I don't know what that process would look like, and any other ideas you have on how we can help keep this going.
Yeah, and I think I would coordinate with the city attorney just to see what sort of agreement we can draft up, just to have a partnership with Jeff, not necessarily creating a city program, but having a partnership with Jeff's program, which is obviously relatively informal and it's just Jeff. But, you know, I think there's an obvious community benefit from this, and rather than just having these, we have, I think, 15 bikes right now that are ready for auction. I asked them to hold off on auctioning them,
Yeah.
and then we'll figure this out. So if there's just some agreement that when they reach the point where normally they'd be declared surplus and auctioned off, that we just, you know,
Declare them surplus and donate them.
yeah, I probably wouldn't call it a donation just because the city can't donate things.
Oh, okay.
But it would be.
I didn't say that.
So, no, it's okay, we just have, you know, a formal agreement with
Okay.
Jeff where,
Repurpose.
yeah, we're repurposing them for this purpose, and then it's just Jeff's hands to deal with.
Okay.
But I have to work that out with the city attorney and talk with Jeff. I think it's certainly doable.
Cool. And in terms of space in the armory, what are you thinking there?
Where the bikes are stored now, there's a little room that doesn't really serve any other purpose. There's just a bunch of bikes in there, and I think there's room, we have to check it out, but Jeff's probably as familiar as anyone with the layout of the armory, so
Okay.
we can figure something out, and that would be just part of that agreement, where there's essentially a lease agreement or some sort of a use agreement.
Yeah, it might also make a really good distribution point. I know that a lot of the programs, like I do, kind of go on a day-to-day basis, but they also, I think Hamilton does, I don't know if Rochester might as well. A couple times a year, they'll stock up 20 bikes, 100 bikes, however many they have, and they'll have a distribution day where people can come that might not normally have access. The armory would be a great spot to be able to set up either in the gym or even out front and say, you know, July 4th, we're doing a bike distribution, free bikes, anybody that needs one, you know, that sort of thing, where now I do it out of my house. I don't invite a lot of people to my house, but I usually put them in the truck and deliver them.
Okay.
But it might be nice to have a place
Kind
to,
of a neutral location.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
I was just thinking of some of the stuff of events, similar distribution events that the city and town has done over the years, so my brain was just
Mhm.
trying to picture it.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that this needs to come back here necessarily. I mean, we know that this is going on, and if something is able to be drafted and put forward to council, I think we would both heartily advocate for it at a council meeting, so, yeah, thank you for thinking of this, and, you have our support, I would say.
well, thank you, thanks for
Yeah.
listening, and, you know, I appreciate the support.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
Just talking about it helps, I think, gets the word out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's good on many levels. Environmentally, socially, it's just awesome, economically, so, yeah. And yeah, I heard about it actually, I think because of the bike-a-thon, at the middle school. Somebody was like, oh, he's looking for bikes to fix up for that, so that's really cool. Cause I think that's a great event, first of all. I know they're working really hard on that, but also just that, you know, when you're in a classroom setting and your friends are gonna do it and you can't necessarily afford to do it, that's a really hard
Sure.
place to be in, so it's pretty awesome. Cool, all right. If anyone has any other comments, questions, concerns? Okay, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We look forward to, hearing more, figuring out other ways we can support it.
We'll have coffee. Thank you.
We have one more thing to talk about, but it's
I
Jeff.
mean, should we stay or go?
You can stay if you want to. We're not adjourned.
I think Danielle left.
Okay, goodbye. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
No.
I'm interested, unless it's like, you know, like confidential.
No, it's about chess. Let's talk about it.
Oh, Chess, I wanna hear about that.
Yeah,
Chess.
please, Bryce, take it away.
So sorry, I forgot, I'm actually connecting with Miss Speller tomorrow
Okay.
for coffee, but at least I have some good updates. So right now, our last update, just working with Liz, I had a conversation with Carrie Harrington. We're gonna follow up just to make sure, just to see if it's official, unofficial, and take the next steps. But basically, as of now, July 13th, On the Deep Street, after the farmer's market, potentially, if it gets officially confirmed. They're going to do like a chess like interest event. So kind of just being on that strip, having like, you know, some chess boards, some pamphlets, giving some information about the chess program that Job Corps Academy has created. They have 8 students at Job Corps that actually do mentorship for chess and teach students. That's how I found out about it. I supervise a program up at SUNY, just at extra service called Kings of Excellence. So it's all of our students are men and women of color from disadvantaged populations. And so a lot of them never had access to chess growing up, they told us. So it was something that they came and taught 8 of our students in the King's program how to play chess. It was very positive. They've created relationships last semester, which was great, and it connected SUNY Oneonta with Job Corps students. So now you have students connected. It was like a family type thing. We invite them to our banquet at the end of the semester. They invite us to some stuff. So with that, I said this seemed different compared to a lot of recreation events. It seemed very powerful. And especially when they were teaching me chess, I realized that I had no idea how to play chess. And I thought, this is not checkers. Like chess is like a whole ball game. It's very like, teaches a lot of things about patience and life. And a lot of the students really had to like, they realized that it was a hard game and they had to like, they learned a lot. So through the process, Ms. Speller and I just had some great conversations, and we're hoping during the Renaissance program to kind of give a taste of it during the summer, with the goal of potentially right when the Renaissance program ends or sometimes in the fall, trying to do a bigger event that involves Oneonta High School, the middle school, Hartwick, SUNY Oneonta, and Job Corps. And also community members in general, whoever just feel attached to the chess program. But for city residents, just so they know, we will have a calendar that we'll post, because right now, Job Corps, I don't have the official calendar. I will get that organized with Ms. Speller tomorrow, but they actually meet, the main headquarters is Espresso on Main Street. I think it's the
Capresso.
Sorry, Capresso, not Espresso.
Yeah, classic is the kind.
So Rohan would be mad at me right now,
But he's been doing the chess tournament there.
Yeah. So that was him, Rohan, and Ms. Speller collaboration. So they've been doing it, but I just was like, I told her, I was like, wow, like I want to help spread the word, because it's like kind of like a hidden secret right now, and I feel like there's a lot of residents that, you know, we saw the great things with the bicycle repair program and everything that Ford do, and then Narcan, like just trying to get even like something even more, just getting anything that we can get, right? Just to help people say, hey, like I want to do this. This is my safe space. And I can connect with others. Like just seeing our residents connect with each other, especially after the pandemic, I think is amazing. So yeah, just wanted to give an update on that. I just have to do some business and just get some things confirmed. But right now, we're hoping for July 13th, not on Main Street, but in that Deep Street little area after the farmer's market is the goal right now, and then we'll take it step by step. We'll take it small steps.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. And it's different for our community. You know, it's cool to hear about like different things that are kind of bubbling up because of, you know, residents who have a passion for something and are sharing it with the community. So it's pretty cool.
And it correlates. I think that was the biggest thing. Like when me and Mrs. Speller have conversations, is it all correlates. So Kathy, when we talk about Narcan and a lot of our youth, unfortunately, you know, getting caught up into some bad things, this is healthy. And who knows, you have a student potentially in the high school or middle school maybe they are from a disadvantaged population, or maybe they're struggling economically, and they meet a Job Corps student or meet a Simeoniana Hartwick student that maybe came from a similar background that has success right now. You could save somebody from going this way and they go this way. So these are just the things, when it comes to our community, just trying to partner and say, the big picture of, hey, let's try it. It's different. I know chess is a frustrating game, but
I'm not good at it either.
yeah, but I think just being a part of it, you don't even have to be good at chess.
Do you know the basic pieces and how they move? That's the start of it, just learning. I can show you that if you wanna know.
No, that's why I'm
Is
that's why
that
I'm
what you
excited
like?
to
Would you
join.
like that? Because that would take like half an hour.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we'll talk.
Kathy loves to share skills. She's gonna teach me how to
That's
knit.
why, no, I'm bringing Kathy.
Right, what do you want to know?
So, this is
No, Kathy, that's why I'm gonna bring you.
You gotta come to the thing on
Oh,
July
yeah, this is what
13th.
happens when you're retired and your brain still works, right? You're a little,
Yeah, and just the bike thing too, if somebody gets a bike, they could just go biking when
Oh,
they're
such a
bored or
great thing.
sad
I
or.
actually had a question about that bike thing. With the armory,
Mhm.
he was saying, this gentleman was saying that it's harder and harder as he's getting older to load the bikes downstairs and up. Is there space enough over there where he could maybe consider moving the operation to work on them there? And is it level with the ground? Because he was saying it's hard for him to go up and down the stairs.
Yeah, that's what he and I talked about, is
You had talked about
moving the
that.
whole operation there.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, the side
But
door
today
where
he
it
was
says
just
teen
talking-
center on the door off of.
Say that again?
You know where the teen center is? There's
Yeah,
a door,
down
it's
there,
red,
right.
painted, it says teen center off of Fairview
So
Street.
there's a way to do it.
Yeah, the bikes are right inside.
He
that
doesn't have to go downstairs. Because he was talking about distribution point, he didn't say anything about the actual, repair part, but that would be great, right?
Cool. I'm so excited. I mean, so
So,
one of the big things that, like, when this group started, and this totally came from, I think Chris Witzenberg primarily, in terms of orienting, right, this group that was none of, well, it was you guys, but it was not us, to like how we can improve the community in the long run is, focusing on kids and their mental health and their quality of life and things that can support them in making good choices so that we can kind of break the cycle a little bit. So it's just really heartening to hear, the different things that support that goal. They're all coming from different places, but I can see how they will impact that, so pretty cool. Actually, on that note, did you have more that you wanted to say about the chess?
no, I
Okay.
just wanted to give an update,
Cool.
just because,
I'm gonna be there. I'm really excited.
I
This is
know.
like great.
yeah, and also too with the notes, if there was something, like Bonnie, if you saw, or Carrie see something tomorrow, oh, we never actually saved it, I'll just, work with everybody, so.
Okay.
It was one of those that we talked after one of the wellness meetings, me and Carrie, so I was just I'll
Yeah,
check on it.
Make sure that's really happening.
But it
Sure.
doesn't have to be on that date, that was just something we just to be safe. So.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That's a thing in real cities. Like, people sit on the street and play chess, and I'm so excited that that's gonna happen here.
It's also opens up other possibilities, because right now, that guy Jay, who you met, he does it all the time online. There's a big chess thing internationally, people play, he plays not only with robots or something, I don't understand how that works, but he's also playing with people who are in other countries. So I like best the real board, I like that, but I mean, it also, especially for the young ones who are online all day long, like your students over there.
Yep.
You know what I mean, there's that with chess. Some
Well, that
people-
was the funny thing, Kathy, where I was talking to Mrs. Speller, she was like, that was one of the big things, was she saw a lot of students at Job Corps just in their rooms, not in the classes going on.
Playing online.
Playing just video games, and it was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
becoming a little unhealthy, so when this chess program happened, they had a lot of success, and the students bought into it.
In real life,
In
doing
real life, yeah.
face to face with a person, right, but I suspect some of them will do both, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they
Yeah.
do both, but it was just,
How great that they can sit at a table with another person right now, without emailing across the table.
yeah.
So the other thing that I wanted to bring up is at our next meeting, we're gonna have a presentation or a conversation, I don't know if it's gonna be really a presentation, but continuing conversation with Jennifer Hill from Tobacco Free Communities. She has given me some background info and I'm gonna share it prior to the meeting on, just some things that our community can do to, like, for example, limit tobacco retailers, to basically make our community less tobacco friendly, which in turn helps keep kids from developing a tobacco habit, and keep, supports community wellness. So she's gonna come and chat about that. And I'm really excited about that. So that'll be at our next meeting, which is July something. I have it in my phone. For some reason I'm on April, which is wild. July 3rd at 6 p.m. I'm checking to see if that seems right. Oh, you were just writing it down. I think that's when it is, unless it's rescheduled because of the proximity to the holiday, which is always a
And
possibility.
she's on Hill City thing, which is the next day.
Right.
So,
She did confirm the third,
She did,
she said she could be here, but at our next meeting, for sure, we'll talk with Jennifer Hill. She has some legislative examples, that she can share with us, which is cool, a lot of really interesting data. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And, the other thing that I wanted to say is, and actually, Greg, I'm glad that you're here, because we had spoken briefly last year about potentially like a community locker program. And I reached out to a vendor that participates with Sourcewell and does a lot of like municipal things. And they sent me some brochures, and they're actually really pretty inexpensive. There were obviously some questions that were brought up about how we would manage it, what is the liability, all these things. But I just thought it would be a good place to start by taking a look at what they have. One of the things that was brought up that I thought was a really good point was, how do we keep somebody from putting a tuna sandwich in there and not coming back for 7 weeks? It could be anything, but how do we manage what's in there? And they actually have them with like bars on the door instead of like a closed door, so we could actually see what's going on in there, which I think would be helpful. They have all different kinds of options, which is really helpful. And may have actually gotten one a little while ago, but I just remembered it was in my draft folder, and I was like, oh, I better send this, so I did, and they got right back to me. So I'll send those to everybody so that we can take a look at those, and see if that's something that we wanna pursue, in terms of ironing out what the details might be, what a protocol might be for abandoned property, or, if we will manage them. I know these were some of the concerns that were brought forward, so, but we can take a look at that and see if we need something that's of value to the community. And also, that's it for me. So those two things. Do you have anything else you want to talk about today?
Oh, no, actually, no. It's a Parks and Rec.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of.
Does it have to do with wellness?
Yeah, kind of.
You can bring it up.
Alright, I'll bring it up just in case. So there's something just, so the committee and, council and the city knows that potentially is almost there. It's just gonna depend on the next Parks and Rec meeting, just
Okay.
because of timing. I was helping a friend who's doing the process for the first time, so, you know how things go. But, in Niwa Park, one of my friends, Greg, but we're very well, Jonathan Annan, he's a student Delhi men's basketball coach, is worked with Lou, and, of course, it was like right after the Parks and Rec meeting
Oh, okay.
yesterday, but worked with Lou and got a submission for, in late July, potential youth tournament for
Okay.
like age 8 through 18. And he's a very energetic person and just a great guy. And I was really interested in the youth aspect, just because a lot of times I know Cam and Blendos does an amazing job of the Main Street tournament. for like all ages, but I thought this was kind of interesting because it was like youth programs. And I know, Katie, we've talked in the past just about, stuff for our youth.
Yeah.
Residents to do, especially in the summertime, is something that's like a requested need. So it's just something that if it happens this summer or next summer, you might hear whispers of me helping John and helping the community members get that together in Ewell Park.
Cool, sounds good, thanks for sharing. Okay, does anyone have anything else they wanna bring up today? Okay, we're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.